You're watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey here with the mailbag. You know the drill by now, I assume. We answer any and all questions you have as it relates to the NFL. Our first question is a super chat from Jack Bishop. Thank you, Jack. Raiders should take a shot at Wynn. He knows the system and is young. Would boost the line amazingly. Trade a third and Cleveland Furl. I love it for Vegas. You move on from Furl, save some money, take on, obviously, Isaiah Wynn's deal, but you're saving money by dumping Cleveland Furl. It's a rare, like, kind of almost NBA-style trade where the money makes a bit more sense there. I wonder if that's enough for New England. They got a fifth for Shaq Mason. I would assume they get more for Isaiah Wynn. That is more. So, Jack, I like that idea a lot for the Raiders. Plug him in at right tackle. It is a lot better than whatever weird combination they've been trying throughout the preseason. I think Wynn would be a great fit in Vegas. From RJ, who will be the best team in the AFC this year? So, quick note, we will have another batch of power rankings around this time next week after we get through the NFL roster cutdown time. I'll go quickly with each division. AFC, it's the Bills in the AFC East, and I think that's my answer because they get to benefit by playing lesser competition. The AFC North, Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, all really good. AFC West, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers, all even better than what we just mentioned overall as a unit. AFC South, Colts, Texans, Jags, and the Titans are not that great. Titans, Colts could be playoff teams, but the Bills are above them. Dolphins, Jets, Patriots might not make the playoffs. So I think Buffalo is my answer for the AFC. From Shanav, our Broncos fan, should Denver trade for Isaiah Wynn? They got to figure out the money. Cap a little bit tight, but just extend Russell Wilson, and you're fine there on that standpoint there. Trading for Isaiah Wynn. Billy Turner, who I like, has kind of been banged up a lot. There's been some buzz of maybe you don't play him at tackle, which is weird. If you are not sold on Billy Turner, absolutely trade for Isaiah Wynn and plug him in day one at right tackle. I don't think Denver would do it because they're already so light on draft capital, but I love the all-in idea behind it. From Slappy Sammy, where will Ndamukong Suh sign? It's a great question, and I don't know. Allegedly, Suh wants around $9 million. He is not going to get that on the open market, I can pretty much promise you. Maybe half of that makes a bit more sense there. Minnesota Vikings, I think, make a lot of sense. They've been linked so heavily to Suh, but they are not offering him that $9 million price tag. The Raiders need some defensive line help there. Cleveland Browns, Denver Broncos, maybe as a dark horse fit there. I think Cincinnati, by the way, should have been a lot more aggressive. They were aggressive, but they should have gone all-in aggressive in free agency because they're not paying Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase anything from that standpoint. So those are 5 teams I would at least consider as good destinations. So sound off for me. Where do you think Ndamukong Suh will end up signing? I'm going to make this question the pinned comment on today's video. So if an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and make your predictions where Ndamukong Suh will sign. Latuya 67, one move the Raiders need to make. Offensive line, right tackle. Like, can you just sign Eric Fisher, plug him in there? They clearly, maybe not clear, but I guess they don't view Alex Leatherwood as a right tackle, which is, okay, new regime. And they're trying everything on the roster right now at that right tackle spot. I think it's time to try something else that's not on the roster at that spot. Evan Hinders, Dolphins trade Mike Gesicki to Minnesota for a second-round pick. Dolphins say yes in a heartbeat. Minnesota says no. That's a second-round pick, I think, is way too much to pay Mike Gesicki $10 million. I think you'd be lucky to get him for, I think even an early day 3 pick would be a lot to give up for Mike Gesicki because there is zero flexibility with that contract. If you had done this before the franchise tag deadline, maybe it would have made more sense because you could extend Gesicki. Minnesota's got Irv Smith. They want someone who can do some inline stuff too. I think Irv's a better fit there. I like Gesicki, don't get me wrong. I think a second's way too much though. NFL Daily is also available on Rumble. We have free and uncensored content. For example, NFL Daily After Hours, following our live shows on YouTube, a bonus exclusively live segment over there. We have the sports. They've got other stuff for news and politics, if you're brave enough, tech, business. As we try to go to platforms you guys use, help us out. Give us a follow for free at rumble.com/NFL Daily. EPS-CX. Who's going to win the Tank Bowl? Ooh, it's a fun question there. I think the Falcons are in that mix. I think the Jets don't want to be, but I think they might be. The Lions are in there. I think the Texans are still in there. Seattle's quarterback moves have put them as one of the front runners, but the rest of their roster is a little bit better when it's all said and done. The betting favorite right now, for whatever it's worth, by a decent-ish margin, is the Houston Texans. Tristan Bravo, Marcus Mariota looked really good. How do you feel about him? I would mention this. I would not read too far in to how starters look in the preseason versus backups. We know Mariota's a pretty good scheme fit. We know he can make some plays with his legs. We've also seen his limitations in Tennessee. I think he can be a stopgap option for you. There's going to be nothing he does in the preseason, games that don't matter, that is going to change my mind. Now, if we get to week 3 or 4 and he's balling out, okay, different conversation. Maybe that would make me feel better about that. But Desmond Ridder's look just as good, if not better. And they all look like Tom Brady compared to Felipe Franks in the end. Frank's out here catching strays for absolutely no reason, but we watched that game, right? It was a disaster for him. In the meantime, subscribe to Chat Sports today for the best NFL coverage. I watch all those preseason games, so you guys don't have to. We keep you covered with everything going on around the NFL. Hit that big red button right now. From Vince, which team will be the surprising team of 2022? Lions, Giants, Jags, Panthers? I think those are 4 decent options, frankly. I want it to be Carolina. I think it would be for the pure comedy factor of Browns dump Baker Mayfield. And then he's great in Carolina, which is probably asking for a little bit too much on that standpoint there. I think the Jags are a year away. I think the Lions don't quite have the quarterback, though. So I want to go with Carolina in the short term, but AFC South and NFC East are kind of gettable. Maybe Philly takes a major step forward and the Eagles emerge from like low-end playoff teams like, oh, they're a legit contender. We'll find out. Brandy Lewis, will Trey Lance throw more or less than 10 interceptions? I think I'd go with the over because the offense is going to be very different. Trey Lance, the best part of his game is his arm strength and his athletic ability. When you have those two, you do what the Niners and Jimmy G did not do last year. Actually take vertical shots, push the ball downfield. That will lead to more explosive plays, more big plays, long touchdowns. Also lead to some more interceptions. And that's okay because you're making big plays in the end. He will not have the same interceptions as Jimmy G. He'll probably have more. He'll probably have more big plays for you, though, on top of that. From Eldridge James. Is that Ed James' cousin? Find out. Why have the Steelers signed an offensive tackle like Eric Fisher? They've swapped out some of the backup offense. I guess they signed Adrian Ely, but that doesn't move the needle at all. They're going to give the job to Dan Moore. Chuck Scorefor is your right tackle, and they're going to hope that the additions of James Daniels, Mason Cole, plus the Dotson Green battle at left guard fixes things. And I'm just not sure they're going to in the end. Now, speaking of free agents and your favorite teams, sound off in the comments section. Name a free agent who you want your favorite team to go out and sign. Let me know in the comments section. From King Seahawk, if the Ravens and the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson get a deal done, what do you think the contract details will be? All of it? I think Lamar wants the Deshaun Watson deal. And I don't know if the Ravens are going to say, yes, we'll do that. I think at minimum, though, it's the Kyler Murray deal. You're somewhere in that range. Low-end Kyler Murray, high-end just above Deshaun Watson. That is the market for quarterbacks. And to be clear, Lamar Jackson in his NFL career has done more than both Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray. All 3 guys are franchise QBs. The market only goes up, and Lamar, I think, wants a lot of money. A big-time super chat from Jack Bishop here. Jack, if you're watching on live here, we'll do some shots for you once this is all wrapped up. Do you think the Raiders would be a Super Bowl contender if they traded for Wynn, went and signed Suh for around $7 million? I don't think it's a smart move, but Perryman extension linebacker is replaceable. I feel better about that team if you add Isaiah Wynn and you add Ndamukong Suh. And I would feel a lot better about them if they were in the NFC. Like, if the Raiders were in the NFC East, which, of course, never going to happen, but I think we would view them as one of, if not the favorites in the NFC. But instead of getting, the Eagles and the Commanders, the Giants, 2 times a year, they get the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos. And all 4 of those teams are really good. So I think in the AFC, and this is how I'll approach it all year, if you make the playoffs, you're going to have a chance. Just like we saw last year. Outside of the last 2 teams in, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, if you made the postseason, you had a real shot. I mean, the Raiders were a play away from beating Cincinnati, who was a play away from winning the whole Super Bowl. So I think there's a lot more parity this year. You add those 2 things, I'd probably put them in the postseason, and that would give them a very real chance. I think the Carr, Adams, Renfrow offense is going to be dynamic. I worry about the trench play. Adding those 2 guys really helps solidify that quite a bit. From Labor, is OBJ to the Ravens the perfect fit? I don't know about perfect fit, but it's a fun one, right? Now, remember, Odell Beckham is probably not going to be cleared until October, November, sometime in that range in terms of that ACL tear that he suffered. So when we get to that time frame, I think he's going to wait to sign, and there will be teams, just like last year, that have real interest. Could be LA. It could be a situation involving, maybe the Ravens. Maybe there's a team with a major wide receiver injury. They signed Odell Beckham to help them make that playoff push. Green Bay should have done it last year. That's a good name, I think the Ravens included, to keep an eye out for. So make your predictions. Who will end up signing Odell Beckham Jr.? Make your predictions for me right now in the comment section. From Zach Kane, do you think the NFC, AFC will split one day and make a third conference? No. It's 3 does not work for a Super Bowl. Like, you get the third, there's just no way. That's not a pathway anyone would pursue. So NFC is the way it's going to stay forever. Add a team? Maybe. Third conference? No.